Prince Momoh is a known name in the journalistic profession, political arena, and the legal profession. The history of Nigeria cannot be complete without the mention of this erudite scholar. With his literary works, his humility, modesty, and unassuming personality attracted our media team for a profile interview to have a peep into his life and professional practice. Born on the 27th of April 1939 into a royal family of King Momoh I, being the 165th child in Auchi Kingdom. His educational sojourn started in 1949 at Government School Auchi in Edo State, which he rounded off in 1954 when he transited to the Anglican School Okpe same year. His teaching prowess was discovered early in life, which probably prompted him going to a teachers training college, Abudo, Midwest Edo State, and Government Teachers College, Abraka in the Western region. Prince Momoh took us down memory lane on his growing up days in a communal setting and how the wives were made to head each household.
I come from the Ikelebe dynasty in Auchi Kingdom, and I claim, and nobody has contradicted me, that we have the largest organized family in the world. The largest organized family in the world. I am number 165 of my father's children. My father had about 257 children, had about 48 wives. And I understand that when you came, you were speaking to one of my brothers, saying we spoke yesterday. But you didn't know that it was me you spoke to yesterday, not my brother, because we look alike. We look alike. You know, our family was arranged into 7 compounds, all of them headed by women, which means we understood the worth of women. And I now know that women are spiritually higher than men, and they are better organized and more focused. And when you have anything serious to do, then you must listen to the council of women. So that our father knew that early enough, and 7 eldest wives headed the 7 compounds, you know, in the family. That's what it was. And I was in the wing of Kasinti Momoh. And by God's grace today, being 79, I'm the head of that wing, Usikomo wing. We had different wings.
He later bagged a degree in mass communication for value added to his journalistic profession, while on sabbatical at Daily Times of Nigeria. Not done with his educational pursuits, Prince Momoh consolidated his educational career with a law degree from the University of Lagos and was called to bar in October 1975. From an unblemished track record of the journalism profession, with the late Alhaji Babatunde Jose as one of his mentors, his stance for truth, objectivity, and ethics of the profession stood him out, even when he had issues with the state based on his principle. Even at that, his prowess earned him the position to be the mouthpiece of the government, as he was appointed Information and Culture Minister in September 1986, up until 1990 by the Babangida administration.
I went to Daily Times, and then after I trained as a teacher, then left home, came to Lagos. 1962, I joined the Daily Times, and I was trained, and I remain eternally grateful to Alhaji Joseph. I was trained by Alhaji Joseph, and then and Mr. Name, they were our bosses in Daily Times. They were my mentors, and they brought us up. I went to university from Daily Times, University of Nigeria and Nsukka. You know, I was trained by University of Nigeria and Nsukka and certificated by University of Lagos because we were thrown out during the war years when the drums of war were being beaten. And I earned a mass comm degree in 1967. Then I went back to do law part-time, and I earned a law degree from University of Lagos in 1974. I went to law school, and I was called to the bar in 1975. I was the 76th, I became editor of the Daily Times, the first editor of the Daily Times, which was established in 1926 to be the first lawyer to be editor of Daily Times, you know. Then from that, I later became planning manager, general manager, and then 1986, I was appointed Minister of Information and Culture under IBB. I was there for 4 years.
Prince Tony Momoh has served in various capacities in his service to fatherland. He was chairman board of director of Nigerian Airways from 1991 to 1993. Member Edo State Economic Advisory Committee in 1991. Member of the Nigerian Press Council. A director of Newswatch magazine. Director Alex Ekweme Presidential Campaign Organization. On his relationship with President Muhammadu Buhari, which dates back to the AMPP days, he recounts his initial misgiving and how that was proved wrong.
1990, I left, established my own practice, law practice, and that 92, that 91, 92, I became chairman of Nigeria Airways, you know, and then much later, 1998, I was a foundation member of the PDP, and I conducted primaries in Kano that picked Kwakwaso and Danguje. And later, I left 2003 because I was a QMS media director, 1999 and 2003. But what things were happening about Mr. Fix-It, you know, and then doing things that were not favorable to those who competed with Obasanjo, that's the QMS, I resigned. And now Chi community asked me to join Buhari, 2003. Because Buhari, when he was PTF chairman, wanted to do Auchi roads and then bring water, do erosion, do 23 roads, you know, but he didn't know anybody from Auchi. They said if that man could agree to do such things because of proposal from Auchi, I should work with him. If he becomes president, he will look in the direction of Auchi. So I joined him in 2003. I didn't like him. I didn't like him because, you know, when it's, you know, in 1984, when they brought Decree 4, I was opposed to it. Yes, I was opposed to it. I said, go and publish it, the truth, and go to prison if you have to, you know. So in 1999, I was writing a column in the Vanguard, you know, and I wrote against him because he was said to have said that people should not vote for Christians. You know, I said Buhari's goof. How can someone who was head of state say that people should not vote for Christians? It turned out that Matthew Kuka investigated it and brought out a document that he didn't say people should not vote for Christians. He said people should not vote for ungodly people. That's what he said. So those two areas, one, criticizing the administration in 1984 and also writing against it in 1999, and having even worked with IBB, it wasn't my darling, you know. But when my community said I should go and work with him, I went to study him, you know, confronted him in Abuja and discovered for the first shock, he didn't even have a house. Where we interviewed him was a two-bedroom apartment he hired for the week. You know, his followers were in one room and in the sitting room. He himself in his own bedroom. We interviewed him in his own bedroom for 5 hours and published a book, Many Questions and Buhari's Answers. And that was the time I discovered that I had no business or I had no reason not liking him. That was a very disciplined man, you know, highly focused man, not rigid. From that time, we started moving on. And up to today, in line with what my community wanted me to do, Auchi community, I'm still with him, and one of the highest people still by his side. And I believe that he's highly focused, most prepared to be president of Nigeria. 2003, he contested and failed. 2007, contested and failed. 2011, his own party, which I was national chairman of CPC, contested and failed. And I was one of those who midwifed the merger of APC, myself, Bisi Akonde of ACN, Obonaya Onu of AMPP. We midwifed the APC, and we are referred to as legacy chairman. And we march on.
This Isako-born elder statesman is one of the founding fathers of Isako Club 81 and thought it wise to host members on his 79th birthday, which also afforded him to present his latest literary work, The Crescent and the Moon.
I must tell you, I feel very fulfilled. And when you write a book, it's like you are giving birth to a child. You hungrily look for its release. And then when this was released, I was very happy. And I must congratulate Isako Club 81 that they are going to present it today. It will be presented to Isako Club 81 today. This little book, you know, The Crescent and the Moon. I was asked to give a lecture at Lokoja on physician, heal thyself. And since everybody there is a medical doctor and I am not, then I say, when they sat down to say what they want done, they asked me to come, knowing that I will discuss dimensions outside physician. I'm not a physician, but I should address healing, because they say, we treat, that's what the doctors say, but God heals. So I should discuss God and healing, which is outside the area of specialization of physicians. And that's what I address. So, and since this area of tutelage is to see what we can do here, you know, I said, we see this phase. You are born, you grow, you age, you learn a profession, and you pass on. You never, you know, there's no preoccupation with thinking of where you come from and what you are supposed to do here and where you go to. So I said that the crescent phase, but the fact is that the moon is always full. So if you think of where you are coming from, what you are doing here and where you are going to, then you see that you are a full moon, not a crescent. That's why I call it the crescent and the moon.